We've reached the semi-final stage of this season's FA Cup. Just 4 clubs remain as a Wembley weekend beckons.
And the holders open their account. It's Gallagher's won it for Chelsea. Erling Haaland chips the goalkeeper.
Cole Palmer was there. Anthony for Manchester United.
James, would you believe it? Coventry leads. It's Manchester United's quarter-final. Oh my goodness me! Coventry have won it!
Which of our final 4 will go on to glory? Welcome to the Emirates FA Cup preview show. Coming up, will 12-time winners Manchester United reach yet another final?
It doesn't matter who you're playing against here, you've got to concentrate on yourself and take it as serious as any other game that you would play. It's business, and that's where you've got to go for it.
Or can former Red Mark Robins mastermind a shock for Championship Coventry?
United go there and it's like a second home to them. In terms of the level of opponent, yeah, absolutely. These are the best opponents that will have played.
It's been a rollercoaster campaign at Stamford Bridge, but can Chelsea finish on a high?
It's been a tough season, but to get to the final, it will be massive for us.
And from wonder boy to world star, we examine the rise and rise of Phil Foden.
Movement, his turn, his pace, even at 7 years of age, was frightening, really.
From Law to Busby, Macari, Ferguson and beyond, throughout Manchester United's rich history, there has always been a strong Scottish streak, and this season is no different.
Obviously, my grandparents in Scotland, who I'm extremely close with, and my mum's got Scottish in her family, and yeah, I just always wanted my grandparents to see me grow up and play for Scotland one day, and I've been fortunate enough to do that, and they've been able to watch the Euros, and we've got another one coming up, so yeah, it's an extremely proud feeling for me, and yeah, I might not have the accent, but it's always in the heart. I feel like Darren Fletcher is the obvious one who's helped me so much in my career. His knowledge of the game and his career is a real example to me and how I want to conduct myself as well. And he was managed by the greatest manager ever in Sir Alex, who is obviously a proud Scotsman who has had so much success over the years. Those two especially have obviously been a big influence in keeping me grounded and keeping me humble and wanting to work hard, keep striving for the best that you can possibly be yourself. Growing up through the football club, it's a culture. It's everyone around the place when we were kids were always educating you on the history of Man United and how Man United players behave and how they act, and that's pretty much stuck with me throughout my whole career. And that wouldn't be the case if it wasn't for the staff and obviously my family and my parents.
Scott McTominay featured prominently as United knocked out Liverpool at Old Trafford in what was one of the great quarter-finals in FA Cup history.
Yeah, big game. Obviously, we know that every time that you play Liverpool, even if it's in a friendly or if it was the quarter-final in the FA Cup. But yeah, I thought we stuck in there really well. We can't rest our laurels on that game and say, oh, we did great there, look at us here 3 weeks ago, and then not reproduce that against Coventry, and hopefully if we get to the final, reproduce that in the final as well.
Room here for Garnacho, and in the end, McTominay got the goal. McTominay's got some big goals for them this season. He's got another one here.
It's the first goal I've ever scored against Liverpool, which is good. You want more than that. You want to keep going, and next time you play them, you want to get more. It's definitely something that I work on 100%. It's not just a case of luck. You have to arrive in those areas to score the goals, and if you're given license to do that, then I trust that I'm capable enough to score. And a lot of the times this season, that's something that I've wanted to add into my game. The forward runs, getting into the box and making late arrivals and making stuff happen. That's what I enjoy.
The midfielder is yet to score a professional goal at Wembley, but he does cherish another significant milestone under the famous arch.
My primary school team, St Wilfrid's, had a football team together, and we had some really good players. Everyone across the country will always say my primary school team was the best primary school team ever. Mine was, because we were on fire every week. We never lost, but we enjoyed it, to be fair. And obviously we got the chance to play at Wembley because we went through through the tournaments. We got there and I scored the winning goal, and there's a good celebration of me running off like that and celebrating stuff like that. But yeah, that was unbelievable. Never ever forget that. Probably one of my favourite footballing moments ever.
Standing between United and a second consecutive FA Cup final appearance are this season's surprise story, Coventry City.
Patchy right, goes to win it. Oh my goodness me! Coventry have won it! The Premiership side are absolutely crestfallen.
Definitely not an easy game. You saw what happened at Wolves, and it's one of them fixtures which is if you don't approach the game right and you're not approaching it like it's a cup final, then it can be difficult, and sometimes you have to go into that mindset of doesn't matter who you're playing against here, you've got to concentrate on yourself and take it as serious as any other game that you would play, retrospective of leagues or players or whatever. It's business, and that's where you got to go for it. It's one of the biggest games that they'll play for some time. It's obviously the same as us. We have to approach that as equal as them and be more hungry than them. Then I've got full confidence that we can win that game.
And if United win, it could mean a repeat of last year's final against their Manchester rivals.
Obviously, we fell short last year and we want retribution this year, and we want to go and win it. It's massive for us to regain some silverware, which is what we need. We're here to win, and we're here to perform and peak at the highest level, and we want to keep striving for that. It's not a case of we would really like to. No, we want to and we need to, and that's the messages that I feel like are important for us.
Welcome to the DW Stadium for this Emirates FA Cup third round tie between League One hosts Wigan Athletic and the giants of the English game, Manchester United.
Well, I remember it was a good win for us, difficult game against a good opponent. We had a lot of control of the game. First goal of Diogo.
Now back to Dalot. Dalot goes for the curler and finds the corner.
Well, it was a very, very good performance, and it was an important win for us because we had to win this game. And the second was a penalty from Bruno, and then we won the game. Then we went to the next round.
Welcome to Rodney Parade for this Emirates FA Cup fourth round tie between Newport County and Manchester United. The scene of several FA Cup upsets in recent years. The Red Devils will be keen to avoid becoming the League Two side's latest conquest. Dalot across, and it's 2-0, swept in by Kobe Mainu.
Well, Komi is a good player, happy for his first goal, and I know many more are coming, and it was a special day for him. He scored his first goal with Manchester United, and it was an important goal for us.
Inside the last 10 minutes of the first half, and Newport County are back in the match with a stunning strike. Bryn Morris.
It was a difficult game against a good opponent who made things difficult for us. They came back 2-2.
Will Evans, the top scorer, delivers in the biggest game of all.
Well, it was a pressure moment.
Rasmus Højlund puts the tie to bed.
At the end of the day, the most important thing is the victory of the team.
Nottingham Forest and Manchester United. Cup glory is on the line tonight.
Well, I remember a good free kick from Bruno, and Cassie was he was in the right space.
In by Bruno Fernandes and all the way in. And it's almost certainly Manchester United who will claim their place in the quarter-final.
We fight till in the end, and this goal came late, but it was necessary for us, and we went home very happy. We play against a very good opponent because Liverpool is not easy. It was a lovely game, It was a game of character. We show a lot of personality against a very good opponent. We scored an early goal just before half-time. The game turned over. They scored twice, and we came back again. We fight until the end. We show character. We show we can compete against the best.
Here's Garnacho. Ahmad, who stole the ball, gets it back from Garnacho to the young man. Can he make himself a hero? He has done.
I was like, wow, what a game. What a goal.
It's Manchester United's quarter-final.
We won against them, and we are proud.
Still to come, the legends of '87 recall Coventry City's finest hour.
I said it's one of the best cup finals played at Wembley, and we're just glad to be part of it.
And in our Cup of Nations series, we celebrate the FA Cup's European pioneers.
This competition exists for 150 years, and I have won it more than anybody else. Of course, I'm very proud of that.
It's always in your mind, always in your mind. You want a good cup run, and this season the owner came in. He said, look, we really could do with a cup run. And thankfully, we've managed to give him one, really.
What a moment for the Sky Blues! They are through to the semi-finals of the FA Cup.
The way we got through against Wolves in the last round was incredible. Really, really tough game, but a brilliant day. We went there with no pressure. There was no pressure on us. For a team to get this far is an incredible journey for the football club. And the supporters, you know, it's unbelievable, because the amount of turmoil that they've gone through over the last 10, 15 years is well documented. But, you know, they are really, you know, hungry, really supportive. You know, they'll buy the tickets up and they'll fill every seat that they can do, that they get offered, and they'll be right behind the players and myself and the staff, which they always are.
Into the Final Four for the first time since they won it back in 1987.
You know, I don't think people forget about 1987. I think it's a huge part of this club's history, and rightly so. I think Tottenham were expected to win, and Coventry were underdogs on the day, but John Sillett and George Curtis and the players on the day did the club proud, and there's a camaraderie there that will never be broken, and that's something, again, that probably gets overlooked about the FA Cup as well. You know, if you have good runs and win the FA Cup as a group, I think you know, it's definitely the glue that keeps you together. It's the Premier Cup competition in the world for me. I was lucky enough to be involved in a cup run with Manchester United, the club that I supported as a boy. I scored 3 goals in that run, one in the 3rd round, I think one in the 5th round.
And Robbins has done it again.
And then one in the semi-final against Oldham in a replay.
Robbins! Yes! What a remarkable record this young man has got.
And then involved in the 2 cup finals against Crystal Palace, where we went to a replay and then won the replay 1-0. And so that was a good year. But you know, at that stage, it was something that you'd anticipate being part of again. But that was my only time in an FA Cup final, and then since then it's been really mixed. Last year I remember playing against Wrexham, and Wrexham are flying. They came here on the crest of a wave, really, big momentum behind them. I had to make some changes for our own reasons, and it weakened us significantly enough to cost us a place in the 4th round, and our supporters let me know what they thought about it. The FA Cup is a special competition. Certainly with Coventry City, it's the cup competition that they've won. This is a really special club. There's been a change in emphasis, really, in terms of what we want to try and achieve, to try and take it to a different level and get back into the Premier League. When you've been on the journey that we've been on, you know, to try and take it from there really quickly is nigh on impossible, really, but dangerous as well. And people will take your players, as we experienced last summer, where we lost 2 top individuals, Gus Hamer and Victor Gyökeres. Those 2 left us, but we were able to sort of regroup and rebuild. It's not easy. I'm talking about league there, but the FA Cup is a brilliant way of taking focus away from that and focusing on something else, where you can try and play against those teams anyway. And if you can possibly get a really good performance and result, you can take that into the rest of your season. We know that that going to Wembley is special for our supporters. It's the fourth time in 7 years and in varying capacities. So we had a checker trade, we had a playoff final, League Two playoff final, which we won, Championship playoff final last year, which we didn't. And then this is the fourth occasion. This is one that, I think is different. It's at a different level than we've played before. United go there and it's like a second home to them. There's no sort of hiding away from it. It's not new in terms of going back to Wembley because we've been there before, but in terms of the level of opponent, yeah, absolutely. These are the best opponents that we'll have played. You've got to be aware that these occasions don't come round too often, and I've said that to the players, they don't come around that often. We'll lay out things simply for the players as we always do and then go and try and grasp it with both hands and do the best you possibly can do and give a good account of ourselves. But we'll need that. We'll need everything to go right for us on the day.
So it's Coventry City versus Oxford United in the third round of the Emirates FA Cup.
Oxford, I remember thinking to myself while I wasn't playing, so I was just hoping the boys got through it, came in with a good result, go on to the next round. I remember watching from the stands and we had a good start to the game with the first goal.
Ball play towards the near post and it's flicked on, and Coventry City have the lead.
And then from there, kind of just built on the game, controlled it really, kind of expected from the guys. Yeah, hold on to score 4 more times, won the game comfortably.
Welcome to Hillsborough for this Emirates FA Cup fourth round tie between Sheffield Wednesday and Coventry City.
Kind of a difficult place to play, pretty hostile, supporters and the fans in the stands. I remember it being really aggressive, really kind of stop-start, a lot of fouls. We scored the first goal. At that point I kind of thought we were going to win, and they got a really late equalizer. Ended up having to have a replay back at home. A bit more comfortable for us. I think we got back to our original game plan. We were able to find good spaces. I think we took the lead somewhat early.
Casey Palmer, beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Last one, good play from Jay De Silva. Was able to whip in a good cross and found me kind of like middle of the goal. Was able to head it in. We were hearing the hype about Maidstone. They'd had a good result against Ipswich in a difficult game. I know playing there at Ipswich is never easy. They went there and got a good result. Yeah, we were able to score early. They were able to get through on goal early. Good finish underneath the keeper. Yeah, he wanted to score 2 more and ended up with a hat-trick at the end of that game. And yeah, great game.
Welcome to Molineux for this Emirates FA Cup quarter-final tie between Premier League Wolverhampton Wanderers and Championship Coventry City.
Quarter-final away at Wolves, the Molineux. Good game from us. I think we held to the game plan. We were able to find good spaces in the first half. Came away with the lead, 1-0 up. It was a free kick, put into the back stick, headed across, and I was able to find Ellis at the back stick, just headed it in, poked it in.
Big chance, they've got it Wolverhampton Wanderers. Hugo Bueno off the bench.
And it was just at that point, blow on our gut. It was kind of disappointing having played the game we played. Wasn't too long left in the game and they're already a goal up. Difficult, but lucky for us, we came through it. We were able to get a goal not too long after, and then good set by Ellis and just pass it into the corner.
Haji Wright goes to win it. Oh my goodness me! Coventry have won it in the 100th minute.
From where I shot it, I could see it was going in right away. So yeah, just kind of wheeled off to go celebrate with the fans.
Would you believe this?
For a lot of guys on the team to be back at Wembley, it's a big occasion. FA Cup semi-final against a big team, Manchester United. We want to win it. We want to go through to the final.
Chance for Bennett, and it's 1-1. The final whistle, they've done it. Underdogs they were, winners they are. It's taken 104 years to do it, but it's been worth the wait.
1987 was the greatest year in Coventry City's history. The first and only time they've lifted the FA Cup. They shocked Tottenham before parading the trophy through the city.
To me, it was a boyhood dream, really, playing at Wembley.
Well, my memories of the days trying to take the atmosphere in, and make sure we try to enjoy it. People was writing us off in the final, and us three, we were quite confident that if we performed to our best, we had a very good chance of winning the game. Playing against Tottenham, they had 14 or 17 internationals, and we didn't have any. The only one we had was probably Cyril and Oggy, who had played for England. So the only people who was going to recognise us was our parents, which didn't go down too well with us.
We knew we could beat them, there's no question. I never had a doubt in my mind.
You got to say, John and George were brilliant in installing that, weren't they? They knew how to look after us and what we wanted.
They treated us like grown-up men, you know.
Yeah.
They trusted us. That was the difference, really.
Trust us.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why we, as a team, you know, came together and played some fantastic football and deserved to beat Spurs, I thought.
The team talk was that make sure we don't give a goal away, which we did.
Yeah.
So the plans went straight out the window.
We didn't have a plan B either. I don't think he gave us a plan B.
You know, obviously going a goal down after 2 minutes, it was Dave's equalised after 7, I think it was, wasn't it?
The goal come about by just getting into the box, keeping my control and putting it in the back of the net.
It was important, the timing of it, weren't it? Your goal, the timing of your goal, the longer it would have gone on, you know, gives you less. And if they get a second one, then you have got a mountain to climb.
Header with the free kick. Goff is in there, Mehmet is in there! And Spurs are back in the lead.
It was 2-1 down, and we didn't really think we deserved to be 2-1 down, I don't think, in the first half. And then we get that magnificent goal by Keith Fouchy.
It remains a very, very good FA Cup final. And Hatchin! What a magnificent goal! 2-2!
Yeah, it was a brilliant cross, Dave. You know, I think cross of the season for me.
I think his goals got voted best goal at Wembley, and I've got a pat on the back, haven't I?
Well, you get assists now, don't you?
Die. He shouldn't have to die for it, though, should he?
Not really. He should have stood there and just headed it in.
It could have been a bit nearer him.
It was just a bit in front of him, Dave. It wasn't that perfect, no.
He was at full stretch, weren't he? He did ever so well.
Dave, what I like, you got the ball in early, you opened your body up and put it in the perfect area, you know. Great goal.
And then we went to extra time. It was just about us.
Lloyd McGrath, here come Coventry again. Pickering waiting in the middle. And another own goal! That time by Mehmet.
We looked up and it was up in the lights, wasn't it? Coventry City 3, Tottenham Hotspur 2.
The final whistle, they've done it! Underdogs they were, winners they are, thanks to that Gary Mabbutt's own goal in extra time.
I said it's one of the best cup finals played at Wembley, and we were just glad to be part of it. And with the celebrations afterwards, obviously, with Coventry winning the cup, their first time was just immense. We win the cup and then we're coming back down the M1, and because we've got the cup, they let us come down the arch shoulder. I'll never forget that.
But we come on the bus today, there's no toilet. The bucket we use is still there, so you know, that's good to see. Just
still full. Like you say, we were going to the town centre. You got 250,000 people in there. 20 minutes drive into town took 2.5 hours.
People don't realise that there's so many people about that are crushing the vehicle. And at one point, I mean, I had a policeman at walking speed. There were crowds. I couldn't believe the number of crowds. I thought, this bus is going by itself. I can't believe this. I took it out of gear and left it, and the crowds were pushing the vehicle along.
It's a big thing, obviously, for us as players, but you could really sense the fact that it's probably one of the best days that they still talk about in their lives as supporters.
And that's when it started to sink in for me, because of the celebration that's going on, and we're so happy.
The whole day was more than we could have dreamt of, really. And you know, the present-day team, they've got that in front of them if they can do it.
If the lads get there this time and get to Wembley, hopefully they'll have a new bus with a toilet on, eh?
Nothing's impossible in football, so, you know, it's just so memorable for us all, isn't it? And even now, you know, that's why we're on this bus now, because of what happened, you know, hoping that Coventry can do it again.
No competition has had an impact on English football like the FA Cup. Its appeal has spread worldwide, and those who've made their mark have come from across the globe. This season, we've analysed that heritage, and this week, it's the European pioneers. During the 1950s, the first European player played in an FA Cup final, German goalkeeper Bert Trautmann, playing for Manchester City.
Bert Trautmann, once a German prisoner of war in Britain, had a vitally important job defending the city's goal. He rose to the occasion magnificently.
Trautmann was a runner-up in 1955 as City lost to Newcastle. But a year later, City defeated Birmingham at Wembley, and the game etched Trautmann into folklore.
And I think Trautmann's hurt. Yes, and so's Murphy.
A collision with Birmingham's Peter Murphy with 17 minutes left injured Trautmann, but the German played on, later to be told he'd broken his neck.
After failure and disappointment last year, this year, success.
The nation with the highest number of FA Cup winners outside of Britain is France. The 1990s saw an influx of European talent, and one player in particular made his mark on the competition.
What a goal! Magnificent!
Eric Cantona scored twice from the penalty spot in 1994 as Manchester United defeated Chelsea.
Same corner, same result. Cantona's got 2 goals.
2 years later, the Frenchman conjured a special moment against Liverpool. Scoring the only goal and becoming the first non-British player to captain an FA Cup winning side. A year later, there was more history at Wembley, with the fastest ever cup final goal. Italian Roberto Di Matteo's goal after only 43 seconds earned Chelsea their second cup success. And Dutchman Ruud Gullit became the first overseas manager to win the competition. The current record for fastest cup final goal stands at 12 seconds and belongs to a German.
Unbelievable from Gundogan.
So many of the very best European players have graced this competition over the years. But none can match Petr Cech. The former Chelsea and Arsenal keeper has 5 winners' medals, more than any other overseas player.
There are so many great players who never had a chance to win one FA Cup. It's not an easy competition to win, and to win it 5 times, of course there are players who won it more times, but sometimes I think it's a great achievement.
3 Europeans have won the cup as a player and manager. Chelsea duo Roberto Di Matteo and Gianluca Vialli, and the current Arsenal manager, Mikel Arteta. But the honour of being the most decorated overseas manager in FA Cup history goes to Arsene Wenger. In a career spanning 3 decades with Arsenal, he led the Gunners to glory 7 times, more than any other manager in the competition's history.
I'm a little French boy coming to England, and this competition exists for 150 years, and I've won it more than anybody else. Of course, I'm very proud of that.
Still to come, Chelsea midfielder Conor Gallagher looks back on the Blues' road to Wembley.
It's Gallagher who's won it for Chelsea.
A really special feeling, and great for the team to progress in the tournament as well.
And we take a look at the academy graduates who will take centre stage at Wembley.
So if we're talking about Phil Foden being so special, it's understandable a bit why Cole Palmer couldn't get into that team. What seems to have driven him this season is maybe that desire to prove people wrong at City.
Moises, Isaac, Kaisedo, Corozo.
It's just 2 years since Moises Caicedo burst onto the scene with Brighton, soon establishing himself as one of the most promising midfielders in the Premier League. having developed his game back home in Ecuador.
All my brothers play football when they were a kid. I grew up watching them. That's why I love football. I grew up watching Antonio Valencia. He's an idol in Ecuador. I can see him like myself because he left from his country when he was young. Now look at him, he's a legend in Man United. All the people in the world remember him. And yeah, I want to be something like this.
Kaisedo's performances attracted admirers, and last summer, a transfer battle between two of the country's biggest clubs ended with Chelsea making him the most expensive player in English football history.
At the beginning, I felt a lot of pressure. You know, it's a lot of money. The more expensive player in the Premier League, and you have like a little pressure because you cost a lot. But after I got realized that if they pay a lot of money for me because they know who I am, after that I felt better. Now it's like a little bit. It's normal, you know, because you are in one of the biggest clubs in the world, and that's normal. Now I feel every game I'm feeling so good. It's a young squad, a lot of talent here. That's why I came here. When we train together, you can see everybody their quality here in Chelsea, because when we are good, we wanna show our football on the pitch then.
This season hasn't developed how Chelsea's ambitious owners wanted, with the real threat of missing out on European qualification in successive seasons for the first time in 2 decades.
A lot of young players, maybe we need time to work together, because it's been a tough season, but I'm sure next season it will be much better. To be honest, next season it will be fantastic, I promise you.
The bright spot has been in knockout competition, and Chelsea are 1 game away from a 6th FA Cup final in 8 years.
We are in the semi-final now against Man City, a big team, but we know our quality. We know if we play together, we're gonna beat them. You know, if we play as a team, run for your teammate or something like this, we're gonna beat them. It's been a tough season, but to get to the final, it will be massive for us. That's the mentality, you know. You always, for example, here always we want to win, you know. The mentality is to go to Wembley and win, and go to a final and win as well.
Welcome to Stamford Bridge for this Emirates FA Cup 3rd round tie between Chelsea and Preston North End. Can Mauricio Pochettino's men write a new FA Cup chapter?
It was a tough game. We expected it to be a tough game against the Championship side. The first half, I think, was 0-0, so we knew we had to stay focused and keep creating chances, which we did. I remember Armando Broja scored.
Back for Gusto, looking for Breuer, and Chelsea take the lead.
And then it kind of opened up a bit for us, and yeah, we ended up winning 4-0 that game, so yeah, it was a great start.
Welcome to Villa Park for this Emirates FA Cup 4th round replay between Aston Villa and Chelsea.
A really tough game. Aston Villa are a top team, they were in great form. We really wanted to get to the next round, and I remember opening the scoring quite early on, I think, to make it 1-0.
Gallagher plants it in. First goal in the tie, and it's Chelsea's.
I remember the game ending 3-1 and it was a brilliant win. Obviously Enzo's great free kick, which was fantastic. Yeah, it gave us a lot of confidence because it was such a good performance.
Leeds' heyday was back in the 70s. They were the team to beat then, and Chelsea, more than any other team of the time, found a way to get those positive results. And Leeds, I don't think have ever forgotten that.
Obviously Chelsea Leeds is always a massive game. You know, we made sure everyone was completely up for it.
In from Anthony, he's got another one. Steaming in, Matteo Joseph, he put them in front, now he's drawn them level.
2-2 when I came on in the 90th minute or so, got the winner to make it 3-2.
It's Gallagher who's won it for Chelsea. He took it in his stride and planted Chelsea into a 3-2 lead.
A really special feeling and great for the team to progress in the tournament as well. Another really difficult game against probably the best championship side this season. We went 2-0 up and then a bit of lack of concentration and they come back 2-2.
Oh, what a sensational goal! Leicester City at level!
Which was really frustrating for us. You know, to be winning, you want to hold on to the lead. I remember Jackson going for on goal in the second half and got clipped, and then the lad got sent off. So that definitely helped us in the last however minutes there were in the game. And yeah, we ended up scoring 2 late goals and winning 4-2, which was fantastic again.
Manchester City's Phil Foden has been one of this season's star players, developing into one of the best talents in the world. But where did his journey to stardom begin?
I saw Phil in my Manchester City capacity. He came in on the schools programme.
I would have met Phil playing for Reddish Vulcans first time, under 7s, under 8 age group.
I just saw this little boy playing, training with other people at Platt Lane.
He'd sort of just pick up the ball in his own half and you'd see him dribbling through the whole team.
His movement, his turn, his pace, even at 7 years of age, was frightening, really.
Yeah, I think that's why we were so successful as a young team, was almost just give the ball to Phil and let him shine, really.
Manchester City at that point were just, I think, starting to become the best academy in the Northwest and possibly in the country. We had some, brilliant, hard-working scouts. It was very competitive to get young players of that age, around about 6 or 7, to come and join your club. So for Phil to be in the building at that age was great.
So Phil came along in a training session. Every time the ball went free, it seemed to fall to him. Was it a coincidence? Was it not a coincidence? So one of the parents came walking round to me and said, "Who's the new little boy there with the left foot? Where's he come from?" And I just went, heaven.
And there was just one day at Carrington, I was taking under 14 game, and I looked across at the other game of under 10 that Phil was in, and I think they were about 10-0 up and he'd scored 4 or 5 goals. He was obviously having the time of his life. And I just politely asked the referee, could he come over from one pitch and come and play on this one? Phil just trotted over, got on the ball straight away, was dribbling round, players much older than himself, much bigger than himself, and we ended up winning the game 2-1, and Phil Foden got a diving header, the winning goal, and it was just like an old-fashioned cup final for school children. It was like 3 deep, parents of both teams all watching this mercurial talent.
The thing at City is, for the young players, there's obviously such a huge benefit to training around Guardiola and amazing players like De Bruyne, David Silva before, Bernardo Silva, Ilkay Gundogan, all these guys, serial winners, great players, huge commitment to play. You'll learn so much, but the double-edged sword element of that is the fact that you're not going to get too many opportunities because they're there.
He never went out on loan. People were saying he should go out on loan, he's being wasted, you're not nurturing the talent, but in reality, that's exactly what they were doing, nurturing the talent.
People at other clubs are willing to spend 15, 20 million pounds on City Academy graduates without too much first team football because they know if they've been at that City Academy for 10, 15 years, they're going to have learned a lot of stuff. They're going to be ready to play. And that's why we've seen City be able to make so much money as well in the last couple of years from selling these academy players, because there isn't the opportunity at City, but elsewhere teams have fallen over themselves to get their hands on them.
One City Academy player who left the Sky Blue project was Cole Palmer, who signed for Chelsea last summer in search of first-team football.
Cole Palmer was a couple of years younger than me. He was of similar skill set to Phil Foden, but I think Phil was probably looked at in a greater light than Cole was.
Cole is very, very similar personality to Phil. Nice and quiet, gets on with the job. I honestly don't think anybody foresaw what he's achieved at Chelsea in such a short space of time. Absolutely amazing. I mean, all credit to Cole for doing that.
Should City have sold him? Should he have got more opportunities beforehand? But I think that just goes to show how competitive it is at City. Foden couldn't really get in the team for the big games at the end of last season either. So if we're talking about Phil Foden being so special, it's understandable a bit why Cole Palmer couldn't get into that team. What seems to have driven him this season is maybe that desire to prove people wrong at City.
Palmer will get that chance once again when he comes face-to-face with his former teammates at Wembley for a place in the FA Cup final.
I think it's going to be a really fascinating game because for all Chelsea's problems this season in the Premier League, they've had City's number in terms of it's been a bit of a bad tactical clash for Guardiola against Pochettino. This team in Chelsea, who have struggled against most teams in the Premier League this season, could stop City winning the treble just by doing what they've done in their 2 games already.
I expect City to come out on top, especially they've picked up form massively now in the Premier League.
You are looking at 2 Manchester City, academy-based, if you like, super talented footballers that are going to be great players domestically for their clubs and hopefully for their country for years to come.
Phil's going to score, yeah. Phil's going to score, and I'll be cheering on City for this one, yeah.
To achieve what he's achieved, and the boys to be able to see him on the television, and the parents to talk and say, he played here. So it might have been insignificant at that moment in time, but now look what's being achieved. So everybody starts to have these ideas, maybe it could be their little Johnny the next one.
I think every minute he plays for the club is special, so any trophy that he gets to add to what he's already got is fantastic for us all.
Welcome to the Etihad Stadium for this Emirates FA Cup third-round tie between the holders, all-conquering Manchester City, and Huddersfield Town of the Championship. Neatly done, Alvarez. And finally in by Foden. Walking pace, managed to find Nunes. Oh, and it's finally turned in by Alvarez.
The satisfaction as a manager to play these games like it was a final of, in the important competition, how humble we are.
Possibility here, Doku! De Bruyne making it, and his fellow Belgian Doku sweeping it home.
What you have to do to be a solid team, we do it again, so I'm really pleased.
The current holders, Manchester City, lock horns with Tottenham. Put in by Nathan Ake! City have broken the spell at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
We play really well. The statistics are there and the shoots and everything, but the way we perform, I'm really pleased. So we defend the trophy, and the best way to defend the trophy is play the way we play today.
De Bruyne, who was too strong there for Clark, pulls it back, and Manchester City lead, and Haaland scores within 3 minutes. But he's spun here, Haaland, Mendy's trying to catch him. Haaland! He's looking for a 5th here tonight, and he gets it.
It's not easy times to come. The people don't believe me, but all the openers know how difficult it is here, and we read perfectly the game, and really happy for the game and being in quarterfinals.
Bernardo Silva trying to find that little bit of space, and he found a little bit of luck as well. Might have been a double deflection. He's got a shot away again. Bernardo Silva. When your luck's in, your luck's in. Bernardo Silva's certainly is.
The guys, the way they play today, the commitment, how they run, how good they play, and everything. So against a physical and a tough team like Newcastle. So yeah, really pleased.
And finally, it's quiz time. We show our guests a team sheet from a classic cup final with a few notable omissions.
I like these games.
3 are missing here.
This week, the 2008 final between Portsmouth and Cardiff. So, can they find the missing men?
2008. I was only 8 years old. Blimey.
Cardiff had no chance.
We start with 2 missing players from Cardiff's team. First up, who started up front?
Hey.
Striker, Dutch striker.
Is that Dutch?
Mate, how can I not get this? Am I being so stupid or what?
No, I don't know.
Well, I think the striker is Hasselbank.
Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, is it?
I know him from Holland. He's a legend there.
Is Jimmy Dutch?
He's Dutch?
I did think of him, but I couldn't think of a Dutch player because I didn't think he was.
I thought it was English.
Yep, sorry Hadji, but up front for Cardiff was Dutchman Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. Next, name the Welshman on the left side of midfield.
Left wing.
Welsh?
I can only think of Craig Bellamy at the moment.
Is he a famous Welshman?
Gareth Bale.
Aaron Ramsey.
The other one is Ramsey.
Ramsey.
Correct, it was Aaron Ramsey, who came on to play in his first final. Now for the winners Portsmouth. First up, who was the England keeper who started in goal?
Ooh, this was a good side actually.
The goalkeeper, I would say...
It's one David James.
David James?
David James.
Well done all, David James was Portsmouth's #1. Now, can you name the missing English centre-half?
The defender, it's tough for me to...
Centre-half has thrown me a bit.
Oh, was it, William Gallas? No.
England international...
Oh, no, I know him too.
I have no idea.
Is it Sol Campbell?
Ah, okay, that's...
Hard luck, Hadji. Well done, Connor. It was Sol Campbell. And finally, who was Portsmouth's match winner that day?
He doesn't look easy, but I would just...
Yeah, I know exactly who it is. I can see his face.
I think, I'm not sure, the striker is Kanu.
Striker's got to be Kanu.
Oh, man.
1 goal won it, scored by Nigeria's Nwankwo Kanu.
Kanu's got it this time.
So the scores are in, and this week's semi-final quiz ends all square, with Andre and Connor both scoring 4 out of 5.
That's good, that, isn't it?
Four former winners will fight it out at Wembley for a place in the 143rd FA Cup final. Enjoy the action, and we'll see you in May.
Inspirational Ilkay.
Brilliant skill by Zola. What a magnificent goal.
Lampard shot. Oh my goodness. And Drogba yet again at Wembley.
Grass missed it. Mickey Jin has